Welcome to Boat Down 125, the number one Blood Bowl podcast.
From the Sea of Claws. Santa Claus.
I am Scott Prime, and with me is Steve Kilowoggy Campbell,
Santa Claus.
who's also known as Santa Claus.
I don't know.
From the Sea of Claus.
When it says Sea of Claus, that's all I can think of is like, I think Santa Claus, Santa Claus from Nightmare Before Christmas, and there's just a whole sea and these Santas just swimming around with big claws.
That's fine. That works. That works for like a quarantine.
Very
right?
chaotic, yeah.
Okay.
How you been doing?
Hey, I'm doing okay.
Good.
I have survived like what could have been the disastrous football weekend that started on Thursday. If this is the first time you're listening to this podcast, I have a daughter who is in marching band, so I've been going to her high school games in football, and they're undefeated. And then Thursday night they got just thrashed.
Yeah.
I mean, it's disastrous, just boom, right from the get-go. And then I went to my alma mater, which is Choctaw High School, on Friday night. We were playing, it was a rematch of the state finals last year that ended in a 21-14 loss for the Yellow Jackets from Bigsby. And Bigsby rolled in, and the first play from scrimmage was a 75-yard touchdown run.
Jeez.
It got called back because of holding.
Okay.
Then the second play that they did, or the first play that counted, was a 75-yard touchdown shovel pass, which is essentially a run, right?
Was it the same side and everything?
No, opposite side. Just
wow.
Same guy.
Just juked him.
Just the other side. And then my team got it. They went 4 and out. And then the other team got it, Bixby Spartans. They got it, and they scored on their next play, which was a big long pass.
Jeez.
So it was 14-0, and they only had 2 plays. It was incredibly crazy. To be honest, though, like all the sports people around here on the sports radio and stuff, we're talking about, like, we know everybody's geared up for this rematch, but like Bixby's the best team in state, bar none. Doesn't matter what division they are. They're maybe even better than last year. And the final score was 70-7.
Wow.
Now, last year they played twice, and Choctaw got beat by them the first time. I think it was like 35-21. And then the second time in the state finals, it was 21-14. And Choctaw had a legit chance of, tying the game up late.
Yeah.
So either Choctaw got worse, Bixby got better, or
both.
A little bit of both.
And for anyone curious, Choctaw has a community they can pull from of maybe 500,000. If that sounds way too big for Choctaw, so maybe 100,000 people they could probably pull from. And Bixby should have been broken up into about 5 or 6 schools by now, but they stay together.
Yes. Yeah, they're one of our high school universities, as I call them around here. On one side of the state, every time a school gets kind of big, they break them into 2 schools, like more or like Norman versus and Norman North. On the other side of the state in Tulsa, they said, nah, we'll just have 5 million kids at our high school universities so we can be good in everything.
Yep.
And they traditionally are. So,
I mean, if that's what you're going for.
I mean, I don't know if this is it, but I heard that they started doing the playoffs one side of the state versus the other. And like I said, I don't know if this is true, but I think at one time they just paired them up and like put them in like seeding, like 1 through 8 for the playoffs or whatever. And it got so bad that it was always that side of the state that now it's like East versus West. It probably has been for like 20 years or so, but I heard that was the reason because of all these Tulsa area schools.
Oh yeah, it's ridiculous.
Inks, Bixby,
Broken Arrow,
Broken Arrow, all these. Anyways, it doesn't really matter. We got crushed. We decided to leave at halftime. Right after halftime, I guess we started becoming band parents because I was like, well, let's stay and watch the band. And then we decided to head on out. But it was awful. And then I thought yesterday with the OU Texas game, since it started off the same way as the Choctaw game, I was just like, oh boy, here we go. Did you get to watch that game?
No.
I know we're talking real life sports, not fantasy.
Hey, it's still football.
Right. Oh,
No, I
that
didn't
game
watch
was.
any of it. I was living vicariously through your meltdowns or Jen's
What?
meltdowns.
It was Jen's
Yeah.
meltdowns. I went to OU. I graduated from OU. Jen cares way more about OU football than I do.
Yeah.
She was screaming at the TV. It was hilarious just watching her, the emotion of her watching the games.
But
But
OU did come back and pull it off. So
oh my gosh, if I was, I know we have a lot of people who are friends of this podcast and listen down in Texas. If I was a Texas Longhorn fans, I'd be furious. I think they were up by 18
28
or
to 7,
so.
I think.
It was 28-7 at one point, yeah. And to lose, oh man, I
Did you,
felt kind of bad for
did you see
them in some
A&M
ways.
beat Alabama?
I did. They got beat, and then Iowa. Uh, so Drew should be happy. Beat Penn State. Came back and beat Penn State from
Hmm.
what I saw. A lot of weird college games yesterday. Doesn't matter on the Alabama thing. Alabama will still be in the top four and
Of
somehow win a
course.
national championship.
Doesn't matter they lost. They're
Nick
still
Saban has a deal with Mephisto. I swear.
never ending pants.
So speaking of Mephisto, today we're going to, you just listened to us probably about a week ago. Hopefully we get this out tomorrow, depending on Steve's taking an insurance test tomorrow for his new job.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully we can get this edited and put up. Looks like we're going to be dodging tornadoes tonight. Did you hear this?
Yes.
I guess we're going to have some crazy springtime weather at the beginning of
Because
or
why
at the end
wouldn't
of
we?
fall,
Yeah.
mid-fall, whatever
Yeah.
you want to call it. Everybody I know is all geared up, and it's like there's nothing we can do, guys. So
Just watch the news.
chillax. Just chillax. So yeah, so we're gonna be watching Storm. But like I said, speaking of Mephisto, we're gonna talk a little bit of Khorne because Khorne is the new kind of hot topic because we're finally gonna get a new team,
Yeah.
which I don't know if necessarily is good, but new product, I guess, not kind of recolored dice product. We're going to get some new fancy product and
Exactly.
hopefully a new amazing spike.
I guess we could just cut to that and we can talk about that in the next segment.
Yeah, let's just
Yeah, this is going to be a
do
Khorne
it.
heavy episode.
Yeah, it is because you just heard us a week ago. So we're getting caught up. You're getting 2 episodes this month. Just enjoy it.
Yep.
Just enjoy it. All right, we'll be right back with some Khorne.
We're back and we're going to go over the surprise announcement that was GW going, oh, you want a new team? Well, how about Khorne?
Is it officially called Khorne? Because I want to call them the
Yeah,
Blood Skull Gods or
it's
something like that.
Bloodborne. Let's see. Khorne teams are on the way, so it says specifically Khorne. So,
Okay.
yeah.
I was.
You're right. It could have been
misquoted.
something else, but no, it's officially Khorne.
Okay. All right. I think I was getting that. Oh, the team is called the Blood Tribe,
Oh, that
Slaughterers or something like that. I think that's where I'm getting all my little facts mixed up here
did they
because I
say the
wanted
team
to.
name? I don't remember seeing that.
Oh, I'm looking for it right now because I'm looking through all these little articles. The Slaughterers
Yeah.
are the Skull Tribe Slaughterers.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think that is the actual if you get the box, you're technically buying the Skull Tribe Slaughterers.
Okay.
Not to be confused with teams like Khorne's Killers, the Flesh Hounds, and the Blood Soaked Bruisers, which they mentioned in this article. So, because the Skull Tribe Slaughterers are they try to win, they just don't try to beat people up.
That
Anyways.
seems counter to their team name. But,
Right.
okay.
All right. Anyways, we got Khorne coming. I mean,
Yeah.
this has been kind of a fake team. I mean, in my brain, because
Yeah, it was never official. Back, what, 4th edition is about when we started? LRB 4? LRB 5?
yeah, we started on 4 with the experimental rules that were going to turn into LRB 5.
Right. And at that time, Khorne was one of those teams well, should we make it official? Should we not? And it was chosen not to.
Right.
So they have been around in some form or another, and I believe there's been a secret leaked Khorne team or something on Fumble for a long time. And then, of course, they were made NAF official, so you could play them in tournaments.
Right. Them and the what we have the Bretonians are now the in what is it, Imperial humans.
Imperial nobility.
No, I'm sorry, Imperial nobility. Both so now we finally got all these teams that we've had now from like a fan side of it to reality.
Except
So
Swan. I wonder if that'll be the next one.
a key slip team.
I would be down for that.
I'm perfectly fine with that. I still don't. I'm going to say it again in case we have a first time listeners. I don't think we need 500 teams. But I know, like, if GW is going to keep publishing this and this is not going to just go away and sit on the shelf for 10 years like it has in previous, in the past, then they're going to make new teams. They're just going to because it injects like life and blood and money into the game.
Yeah, of
So
course.
I get it. I still think you can kind of role play any team you want. You could take a Norse team and turn them into like a Khorne team by
Yeah.
like, you know, making them evil and doing mean things. And in a lot of ways, reading from the little fluff of this, it sounds. I mean, is it possible that we just never get Norse teams?
Probably. I don't know. I really
I
want a
still,
Norse team.
I still think we're gonna get them eventually.
They did just do the made to order Amazon and Khemri, which seems odd. But that probably means that there's less of a chance of them doing Amazon and Khemri in the near future.
I think
So
that's exactly what that means.
since they haven't done Norse, maybe that's coming up.
Quite possible. I don't really know. I've heard some people say like, "Oh, now we're definitely not getting Norse because this is going to replace it with all the."
But it mentioned Norse in the actual fluff of the article. So
Yeah, I think we're going to have Norse eventually because like they don't have to like if they don't want to, they can take the lazy route and not play test the team and just kind of throw it together, make some new models, and everybody's going to be happy
yeah, for
because
sure.
they're a team from Legend. I I definitely think because they're saying like, "Hey, we'll make you some metal teams if you're really willing to pay for it," is a very clear sign that Amazons and Kimry are not going to be around for a while.
Yeah, I think so. And it's such a wasted opportunity on Amazon's.
Yeah, I'm sure it's too late to already order this stuff. Like if you're listening
Oh
now,
yeah.
but the Kimry stuff I did not put together, and I couldn't imagine putting them together because they were like little torsos and top of the body and their little thin parts. And
Yeah.
I paid our buddy Sarge a whole bunch of money just to do that
I
for
think
me
I had
because it was
Nathan
like,
do it for me. And yeah, it's a great looking team. But put all together, it's amazing looking and painted well. But people complain about the plastic pieces. My God,
yeah.
those metal pieces, little fumbly things, just don't do anything with them.
But I mean, the fact, I mean, like, I think the fact that they're offering those teams is still like, I would be happy if I just started playing Blood Bowl and like, you know, I fell in love with Blood Bowl 3 years ago and I couldn't find those teams. If I
Yeah,
didn't rush out and buy those teams, I'd be really happy. And now I know it sucks that you pretty much got to buy two teams to get exactly what you need. And there's always that fear that, like, when they do decide to do Kimry or Amazons, they're going to change positions or something like that to make you buy the new teams. But
well, I mean, just the size difference is enough.
yeah,
And it's going to be a lot more dynamic instead of. That's one thing. Like the new teams, so you might not like that they're on 1 foot a lot of times, and I get that.
I don't.
But they are very dynamic and they're very well crafted.
That's true.
Because a lot
I
of
can't.
people were complaining about the old Amazon team. Like, you can't tell the difference between a blitzer and a lineman. Doesn't matter. Like,
Right.
yeah, you can. Just takes a little effort.
I mean, there's subtle differences there, but I get what they're saying, though. They're very
They are. They are indeed.
they're kind of plain. They're so plain. I don't even own them, Steve. I mean, I know you do, but
Hmm.
I don't even own the old models themselves because I was just like, there's not enough here that I care. So I went a different direction.
Have you even played them? I know you played them in a league, in a tournament, but just
I
one
have
time?
played Amazon. I played Amazons not in a league. I played them in tournaments.
Just one?
No, several.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So the new team, it's a little
looks like
different than the old one.
yeah. It it is a little
Do we want to
different,
go
and I'm
through
not.
the things?
Yeah, let's go through the positionals now. I'm not gonna. I
Yeah,
have the a roster here, so I can kind of tell you a little bit of the differences
I
here.
have the new and the old ones.
Oh,
So
okay, awesome.
used to be we had pit fighters. Now we had bloodborne marauder linemen, and I think pit fighters were renamed marauders, weren't they? No, that's a different team.
No, yeah, different team. I
Okay, so they used to be 60k 6338 frenzy, and now they are 50k 633 plus 4 plus 8 plus. So
so they dropped the armor. They got a little bit cheaper.
mm-hmm. And they still have frenzy.
So this akens back to like kind of like a Norse
Yeah.
lineman in a lot of ways,
Oh
except
wow,
they're
yeah.
because they're frenzied up instead of like have the block skill or the fighting skill.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I always think of Norse. They're good at fighting, you know. So, and a lot of this stuff, like we'll go into it a little bit later, but like a lot of the fluff is these guys come down and they maraud from the Chaos Wastelands, and what's the most north? The Norse people.
Yeah.
So, you know, they take in these people into their cult and turn them into this. So I get it. I think it's fine.
Okay.
I I I like the pit fighter name.
I did too, but I mean, this makes more sense, honestly.
I mean, this goes with GW saying like we don't want anything too generic because we don't want somebody else to come up with a pit fighter positional.
Speaking
So
of, instead of bloodletter demons, they're now called corngores. Still 0 to 4.
that's so hard to say.
Corngore.
Corn, corn gore.
I got corngores on my foot. Um,
I got one in my hiney.
they used to be 80k 6337. They are now 70k 633 plus 4 plus 9 plus. So boosted that armor. But they did
They don't have
have
regen.
horns and juggernaut in regen, but now they just have horns and juggernaut.
Right. I will say this model, actually all these models, I really kind of like.
The models do
It's
look nice.
I mean, like, I don't like that they're all half of them are on 1 foot, but I do like these models. And I'm this Corngore guy, like, he looks kind of like scary. I kind of
Mm-hmm.
like it. It
It's like
kind of is it
demon
stupid?
cow dog.
Huh?
It's like a demon cow dog.
Yeah, this is kind of how I want the werewolf to look. Is that
Yeah,
stupid of me?
without the horns.
Yeah, this is cool. I like it.
Let's
I approve.
see. Next, instead of corn heralds, we have blood seekers. And before they were 0 to 2, now they're 0 to 4. And old ones were 906338. New ones are 110, 5, 4, 4 plus, 6 plus, 10 plus. And they used to have Frenzy, Horns, and Juggernaut, and now they just have Frenzy.
So this is like getting a Chaos Warrior with Frenzy, right?
Yeah. This is really just like a Chaos team, just with Khorne.
Right.
Because you've got your regular people, you got your Pestigores, which are now Khorngores. Not Pestigores, but Beastmen.
Beastman, yeah.
And then Bloodseekers. So it lines up perfectly with like Nurgle and Chaos, but just now this. And then there's a big guy we don't know anything about.
Yeah, what and he's called a what? A blood spawn?
Did they? If they said it, it's in a different one that I'm looking at.
Okay. Yeah, I believe they called it a blood spawn. Um, so he's gonna be your big giant guy. I'm almost there. Yeah. Corngores, Bloodseekers, Bloodborne, Marauder Linemen with a Blood Spawn, a hulking mutant swollen with the Blood God's unholy power. These monstrous brutes are capable of tearing players limb from limb in a raging frenzy, or even disembowing an ogre with their elongated bone spurs.
So they
And the
have
creature,
Frenzy and Claws.
yes. Yes, they look like they have like bones like sticking out of them, kind of like the old Doomsday character from DC Comics.
Yeah. So
Um, so I don't know what we're gonna get with that. I mean, we know that the old Bloodthirster was like a really powerful guy.
Yeah,
So
he was stupid.
I'm
This,
assuming this is going to be very similar,
nah, this is gonna be similar to a Minotaur.
just with claws.
Yeah, I'm guessing in Frenzy.
Okay.
I mean, maybe they give him regen since he used to. I don't know.
I don't really know either.
You can't.
There is a picture in this article, which I think makes it cool. Some of this new art's, it's nice to get the new art.
Yeah, it is.
So this looks good.
No idea who
Um,
does it because why would they credit anybody?
right. So it looks like you're still going to need 2 boxes if you wanted the whole team.
Um,
Because I'm looking here, and it looks like you're gonna get 4 of the bigger guys, which is now what the Blood Seeker. What do you call them?
Blood Seekers are the
Blood
big ones. Yeah,
Blood Seekers, and then you're only gonna get 2 Khorne. So, like for
yeah.
somebody like me and you, we're gonna want 2 boxes so we can get the extra people and stuff.
Which means we'll have a lot of extra linemen.
It looks like there's a lot of little extra heads, which is nice because I'm seeing like it looks like a guy with an eye patch. I think. I don't know,
Yeah.
but I'm looking kind of forward to this. And I'm glad for years, and I know you have a Khorne team already. So
Mm-hmm.
you probably don't even need these really.
No, no.
You
The
have
other
an
one.
excellent painted Khorne team that might be smaller miniature wise than the current stuff. But I'm glad I've waited all this time now to finally get a Khorne team.
Yeah. The only issue is like there was only 2 Khorne heralds in the old team, and now there's 4 Bloodseekers. So
Mm,
that kind of sucks. Like a lot of people who have the old teams. But if you had Lord Borak or something, then you have one there, and you just got to find one more. But yeah, it's kind of annoying, but it's probably why they did it. I don't know.
right.
I'm, just, I'm sure it's not at all why they did it, but it is slightly annoying for that fact.
Steve, are you surprised of this announcement being so late? Because through little birdies and stuff, I think we knew about something like this since last December. Isn't that correct?
The quarantine?
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
I
well,
didn't, anyways.
oh, okay. Never mind.
If you've got
If
different sources than I do, apparently we need to collaborate more.
I heard that this was coming either at the beginning of the year or late last year. Um, but I knew nothing other than details of like it's probably similar to Khorne.
Right. Okay.
And obviously for obvious reasons, I didn't want to say anything until it was announced. So
See, I thought it was going to be Chaos Dwarves because of how the star players are listed out, but this also works because it
right,
was, I forget what it was, but like favorite of old. One of the keywords had less people than all the rest.
I got you.
So this does say that the Spike 13 will be coming at the end of the year.
I think that's really cool. I think it's cool that this chaos like quarantine is like 13 because
Mm-hmm.
like killer, you know how people are like freaky.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just Halloween time. So I think about that stuff, but I thought that was cool. Yeah, I am ready for a new spike because I enjoy those maybe more than all the other new stuff. I don't know if I need a pair of $18 dice, but I'll probably buy them anyways.
Yeah.
But I am excited for this team, and I'm gonna have to just bite the bullet and have put them together and have somebody else paint them because I don't want to paint them. So,
Yeah, and I assume that they're going to come out with a pitch and cards and all that too. It doesn't mention it though.
oh, I forgot about that stuff. Man, this stuff might get pricey.
Yeah. Now I'm curious what the pitch is going to look like. I'm sure it has some rule like if you kill somebody on the first half, you flip it the second half and it's flowing with blood. But didn't we already have one like that? I
Maybe,
think that's what the chaos one was. Can't
maybe.
remember anymore. Like I like the pitches, but I'm never going to use them. They're just taking up
Well,
space.
years ago we did that tournament where I used all my pitches just
Yeah,
to have an excuse to use them.
that
So
was cool.
that's the only thing keeping that kind of dream alive for me on that.
Mm-hmm.
So Do you think that we are going to now, since we're starting to get Chaos God specifics? So before, if you
Yeah.
played Blood Bowl, if you wanted a Zinch team or Slanesh team, and you played regular Blood Bowl, you just had to role play like this Chaos team is this Chaos team is that.
Mm-hmm.
Because you only had Nurgle and Chaos, general Chaos. So we have Nurgle, and this new Khorne team has kind of followed the pattern of Nurgle. You kind of have a big monster, you have four big guys, you have four
For
specialized guys, and
but
then you
they're
have
not even specialized guys. Four gores of some type. So there's
okay.
beastmen, pestigores, and now corn gores. And there's four big guys on Chaos, Nurgle, and Khorne. So yeah, I
I
see
guess when
no
I say
reason.
specialized, I mean like these guys are going to hold the ball.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, I think maybe
Think
that's
we're going to get a Slanesh team and a Zinch team eventually?
maybe that's a segment we should do for next episode. We just make them because we know what it's going to be if it continues on this thread.
Huh.
Because you're going to have four big guys, four strength. You're going to have four beast type things, and then your lineman, and then a big guy.
I mean, you think that's bad?
No, I
Or do
think it's
you?
consistent.
Okay. I was just kind of curious, like your thoughts on that, or you think like
See,
this
I'm
isn't as
perfectly fine with, like, you started off saying you didn't like, we don't need 500 teams. I'm perfectly fine with a ton of teams, even if it's a slight variation.
I know you are.
So I'm okay with that.
I
Now,
don't know.
other
Again,
people, I don't know, but
I still don't know if it's needed, but do I think that's what's going to happen eventually? Yes, if Blood Bowl continues to be around for a while,
yeah,
and nobody that I know of have told me like Blood Bowl's on like the cusp of like getting cut or anything
no,
like that. Now that doesn't mean I have great sources, but that doesn't. I haven't heard anything bad about like oh Blood Bowl's like it's not doing so well. I mean, if they make more stuff, I think they would see great sales. And they keep dice in stock, they would see great sales. But they don't want to listen to me. So
no, I don't know.
I wish I wish I could get this team that's painted just like this because I just look at this and I really love how it's painted in the models. I mean, it's the standard, oh, corn has to be red because the blood god
Yeah,
and
of
all that
course.
stuff. But it still looks really good. So
I
hats
don't
off
know.
to ever.
It'd be kind of neat to have him bone white, like a skull, and then just splattering of red.
That would be cool. I'm stealing it.
Good.
I like here's what I do like, and this is probably only came out because like, are you there with the pictures?
I was.
Did you see the guy that was like he's one of the Marauder guys, and he has like tiny horns, and he has like the chaos symbol like
Yeah.
carved into his head. He looks like a human that got mutated. I I really like how that looks, and I know this is really stupid, but like Marvel has been doing 40K comics. So it did some comics with some Space Marines, and now it's doing some with the I think they're called Sisters of Mercy or
Yeah.
whatever. They're another army unit, 40K stuff, and the Space Marine one was really good. I like the writer who did that. It's it kind of takes that fluff to another level because like 40K I've always am interested in, but I've never like totally jumped in because there's just so much. It's so deep.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It seems like it's just a lifestyle, and I didn't want to totally ever jump in totally on that. But reading the comics, I get to read some of this background and stuff, and some of like these chaos god followers, these cultists and stuff, actually like in the comic was depicted the same way with the tiny just the gifts. He just got the gifts, of chaos of
Mm-hmm.
the tiny horns and stuff. So like seeing that illustration and stuff just like brought back images of that comic and stuff. And I've been, like I said, enjoying those. So if you're out there and you like Blood Bowl and you like comics and you ever thought about like some 40K stuff, go read these comics and you get enough 40K without spending $1 million or a million hours of your life. putting together models and never playing. So,
Yeah.
anyways, I just noticed that, and I think that's another reason why I like seeing some of this illustrations and stuff of the Khorne stuff. But that's really all I got to say on this.
Yeah, I think I'm optimistic about them. I think they look cool. I'm glad people will be playing them. I think the team's better than what it was. Getting rid of the regen, making the armors a little bit tougher, so the team will actually stay on the pitch. Because that was
I
my
mean,
hardest problem playing them.
you're talking about for like the bloodletter position, or
Well,
the
all of
oh,
them.
you're talking about but the Marauders are not as tough because eight
Oh
plus
yeah,
is
because they
real.
had yeah
8+ is
9. Well yeah,
right,
it's 8 plus, so it's
right.
basically
So it's
like
a
a
seven.
7. You're
Yeah.
right. So they got a little bit worse, I guess.
In that regard, but they're cheaper. So I
Yeah,
still agree with you. I still think they could be
and
better.
the 4 big guys now instead of 2, or just 4
Dude,
strength, I guess, is really the
it's
main thing.
night and day difference having a guy that with 4 strength with frenzy versus a guy with 3 strength with
Yeah,
frenzy.
yeah, and having
So
4 of them, just like, yeesh.
yeah. So yes, I still think they got better too, despite the armor going down just a little bit on the
Yeah,
little meat shields.
yeah,
So
and like you said, the corn gores are the ones who are going to hold the ball anyways, for the most part,
right.
because they don't have frenzy and you can actually control them.
Right. I think we're gonna see some wild, what is it, wild animal, or what's the vampire thing?
Oh,
Animal savagery. We're
yeah,
gonna see some animal savagery for sure on that blood spawn.
I'm sure.
So
But like, we'll be interested to see the spike.
yep, as always.
Yep,
So let's take a quick break and we'll come back with our not deep
our
but
corn
still
fluff.
fun corn fluff. All right, we're back with some corn fluff, and we're gonna be like
This is
reaching.
the shortest segment ever for Team Fluff.
Well, I mean, kind of and kind of not. I mean, like, Khorne is the god of like murder and hate and killing and all this stuff. So
Yeah,
you have your 4 chaos gods, and Khorne's just the one who likes to be like all the rage,
he's the most powerful.
and he
According
wants to.
to the regular Warhammer, not fantasy, Khorne came into being between the first and second millennia of the Terran Age, which would
Was
be
that us?
our 1,000 to 2,000 years. Yeah. It's
Ooh.
like, well, okay, that kind of makes sense.
So does that mean like we created Khorne and
Hmm.
we kicked off all this like awful stuff in the Warhammer universe?
Yeah, probably.
Well, that makes sense.
But yeah, he's the originator god. He's the oldest. He's the meanest. All that type of stuff. But when it
Uh,
comes to Blood Bowl, not a whole bunch of history with Khorne.
um, here's a little bit of things that they mentioned like in their articles that I thought was really cool. They mentioned they did actually, use some previous fluff where they mentioned, and I think I talked about it earlier. They actually talk about the team Khorne's Killers.
Yeah.
I mean, that was mentioned in the old like second edition stuff. So like it was kind of cool to hear about that. Another thing I thought it was really cool that they mentioned in their like kind of like blurb article about the Khorne team is they did mention the team Khorne's Killers, which goes back. It feels weird saying like it goes back to third edition and that being like kind of old school, but it really is because it's been like 27 years ago or so, um, or close to. When Chaos was introduced into third edition as a team, because it wasn't around technically like as a Chaos team in second edition. Second edition had a Chaos human team, not a quote Chaos team with the Beastmen and stuff. So
Right.
third edition brought in the Beastmen and stuff, and that was when Khorne's Killers was mentioned for the first time, I believe, in like a Death Zone book. So they pulled back from old stuff. I've heard of the Flesh Hounds and some other fluff stuff. I can't quote exactly where, but I've heard of them before and other stuff. Now the Blood Soaked Bruisers, I don't ever remember them in Blood Bowl. I'm sure they might have been in some of those Did You Knows and stuff like that.
Or it
But
could just be an internal team.
right, and I always thought the Flesh Hounds were like an undead team, like zombies.
Oh, yeah.
But
I was
I
thinking
guess
werewolves.
yeah. So I stand corrected on that. They are a chaos team or a corn team. Or maybe they were just repurposed for this to take an old team and
Yeah,
use this way,
of
which
course.
is fine. They've done that with other stuff too.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're at least giving us people who love the nostalgia of the old stuff. They're giving us bits and stuff that we can enjoy. So
Yeah.
I'm still not sold on this Skull Tribe Slaughterer's name, but fluff wise. But I guess they got to have something on their own. So.
Yeah, and as we mentioned before, they were experimental and then eventually they became semi official. And there's just never been a whole lot of Blood Bowl fluff for them. Because most people, anyone who, liked Warhammer, were like, there's no way a Bloodletter would be on that field. They would destroy everything.
Didn't they actually start for Blood Bowl as like an exclusive team for one of the video games? Isn't that where this started?
Oh, wait. Am I stupid? You're right.
I'm, I mean, because I don't play the video games and never really have
Yeah,
because
but
I
wasn't
don't.
it?
It was the
No, you're right. It wasn't one of the three. Damn it. I've been speaking wrong the whole time. It did come from the video game.
okay. Well, that's where it kind of started, right, from the video game.
Yes,
It's okay.
I
We
think.
mess up.
At this point, I don't know anymore. What were the three experimental teams then? Because it was Slan,
Oh,
Bretonian.
you're talking about the old ones.
Yeah,
That would have been Chaos Pack, Underworld, and Slan back when we started, like
yeah.
fourth, fifth
I
edition.
thought Bretonians were back then too.
I think
I
they've
guess
always
not.
been kind of a fanish team that,
Okay.
anyways,
Well, I probably should have researched. Anyways, too bad.
that's okay. This shows everybody that we're really human and, they could create their own podcast and do just as good as us.
Probably, yeah. They wouldn't have as many episodes as us well, for a while at least.
Not if they did one like every week.
Well, so
That'd be
they
a
tried
shit
that and they didn't.
um, yeah. So like, that's where the corn thing was. It Blood Bowl 1? Is
Yeah,
that okay?
I
All right.
think. At
Okay.
this point, I don't know.
All right. That's fine. It was a video game thing, which became a real thing for fan made for a while, and here we are. So,
Yeah.
have you played corn in tournaments or league?
Not League. Played him one time in a tournament at Matador Melee in 2019. Or was it 2019? 2018? No, it was 2019.
You're gonna tell me, bro.
God. It feels like it
It-
was 5 years ago.
no, that's because 2020 felt like 5 to 10 years by itself.
Right. It's just crazy. Anyways, I took him there on my 8 Realms Skull Takers. Just nothing. I got no fluff behind it. I just found a name.
Okay,
They came from the 8 Realms and they take skulls.
that's fair.
Other than that, like,
Did you enjoy them, or did you build them to do like I'm gonna go win the most casualties or something like that? Do you
well,
remember?
those are two different questions. And the answer to both is no. So that's just how that goes. I did not do well. I had one win, 2 ties, and a loss. And, oh yeah, it's 8/16/2019. God, that feels so long ago. I had fun, but I just remember my pieces not staying on the pitch at all.
Hmm.
And not just being like surfed, just being smashed upon the head and my people dying.
Hmm. Okay,
Because I did
that's
try to
fair.
hurt people, and I just didn't do a good job at it.
I think that's kind of like a mistake that's probably easily made. You see all the frenzy, you see the horns, you think, oh, I can maybe kind of push people around and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But
I
like,
put Mighty Blow on the Bloodthirster and both Heralds, so it still didn't
hmm,
work out too well.
um, I did not. So here's my experience with Khorne, the old version of Khorne. I've took them to a tournament up in Iowa. I took them to one of the 3 double lock tournaments, and I did fairly well. I won 2 games, tied a game, and lost a game. My team was made up of a Bloodthirster, 3 Bloodletters, 2 Khorne Heralds, and the rest Pit Fighters. I remember trying to build this team. I kind of stacked it with some more Mighty Blow and some things like that, thinking, oh, I can get injuries. And then I went back to like, I got to know myself. And at this tournament, I took Mighty Blow on my Bloodthirster, a Sure Hands on one of the Bloodletters, 2 dodges with the other Bloodletters to get those guys to move around. With my Khorne Heralds, I took one with block, one with tackle, and then I only took a Pit Fighter with guard,
Hmm.
as weird as that is. And I tried not to throw every block possible. I tried to be smart about it to not get myself in trouble. And I think the results turned out really pretty good. Um, I remember that same tournament, Drew from 3 double lock was playing at the time, whatever it is, Bretonians. So we had a Bretonians versus Demons of Khorne matchup. And it was just kind of fun and interesting. And from what I remember, he kicked my butt like injury wise, but I held into the game and tied it up. So, anyways, that was just a fun memory. So, my team name was the Brimstone Demons, which is like, yeah, they're the Demons of Khorne. You named them the Demons. Ah, big deal. No, well, here's where I kind of my fluff is very loose and not as probably well thought out as like all the other teams I do. But I did stay up late nights at the time thinking of a team. We were playing Shadows of Brimstone at the time of all this, because this was many, many years ago, where we have get togethers and see people in person, in the before times.
Mm-hmm.
And we were playing Shadows of Brimstone, the cowboy game with like kind of the Cthulhu ish, demons and cowboys and all this stuff,
Yeah.
mutations. Um, so in this, the main, like, I guess the little town area was Brimstone. So I just thought that sounded like a cool name for a quarantine, like a little kind of crappy town or area. And they're already demons. And like, I love the fact, like, we have like, you know, the Duke Blue Demons or Blue Devils. And then we have the Wake Forest Demon Deacons.
Mm-hmm.
I think as a kid who went to church often with his parents, I thought, I can't believe they're calling themselves the demons. And as a grown up, I find it hilarious now. So I just wanted to use that logo that I found of like the little demon guy. And so the Brimstone Demons came into fruition, and I named all my players just like I always do. It took a lot of time, but the main guy that I wanted to talk about here is, if you know me, you know that I have a Chaos Pack team that has about 50 miniatures, because the idea is there's a bar and there's a man named Bator who runs the bar. And when it's time to go play a game, he grabs people out of the bar and they travel to where they need to go and they play a Blood Bowl game. So at any time, the roster could look different. And basically the models just look different. So when I play them, Steve knows, I would randomize the models. If they didn't have a skill, the model got randomized to be the same position, just
Yeah.
a different model.
Yep.
um, I had a lot of fun doing that in our league, playing that Chaos Pack team. And the coach, like they said, the head coach was Bator the Blackhearted, and they were called the Bator Blackhearts. It was my Chaos Pack team. So Bator got his start as a pit fighter here with the Brimstone Demons. So in my fluff, this was like 20 years before the Bator Blackhearts ever started. So that's how I had to make this team that I didn't care about and didn't really want to play for, but I wanted to play all the teams, interesting and fun
Yeah.
for me. And Bator was the one pit fighter that had guard. So like he was kind of the smarter one who's going to live on after many years after all these other crazy guys die.
Which is
So
so not like Bator from the Hitman comics or the TV
not at
comics.
all. Not at all. I mean, that name is totally stolen from the Hitman comics, but it's such a great name.
It is.
uh,
But yeah, looking at my old roster, I tell you, I'd much rather play that new roster. Because
oh,
the old one was just not varied enough and was kind of gimmicky with all the frenzy. But
for
now
sure.
with the extra strength and the more options, it just much beefier team.
Yeah, you can. I assume that your results would be a lot better than it was before.
I
Now,
don't know about that.
well, I mean,
Well, with
four
the
strength
higher
guys.
armor and yeah, the 4 strength and yeah.
I mean, the armor went down on the lineman pieces, but the armor went up on the other guys.
hmm
So that is
And
a positive.
I would much like. I actually look forward to playing that team now because I think that'd be a fun one to play in a tournament as
I
just a
get you.
big bashing team.
Um, my other experience with this team, I played during, I guess it was last year, the year that felt forever. We played a league with some of the 3 dot block guys as well, or they just wanted to have like a league and get to play some Blood Bowl since we couldn't see anybody. God, 2020 does feel like a long time ago, and yet
I
like
know it's just
10
1 year.
years.
Uh huh.
Yeah, anything before feel it's just so weird thinking about like, was this really only last year?
Well, it was like 2 years ago was the World Cup. 2 years. That
So weird.
feels like forever.
Yeah. So my experience of playing the Demons of Khorne is it was a league where you randomly got a team if you wanted a new team. I ended up getting the Demons of Khorne, so I took the Brimstone Demons into this league. I had a very, very, very rough time. Like you, I got beat up all the time. If I hit the ground, my armor broke. I struggled big time. I somehow I managed to win 3 games, tie 2 games, and only lose 3 games, which put me at 8th place in the league. And I made those stupid playoffs, which was really just killed me because then I had to play the number 1 ranked team and got slaughtered. So,
That's usually how that happens.
but yeah, whatever.
You get the bonus for saying you're there.
I did go to the playoffs with this team. I don't want to play them again. I think that was the final blow of saying like I think I'm done with these guys, maybe forever.
Yeah. But would you play the new roster?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would. And truth be told, if we never had new Blood Bowl stuff and we just had this fan favorite team, I'd eventually play this team as it was again as well
Yeah.
because I
Because you
you
just
know
like playing different teams. I mean,
I like
really
playing
don't.
different teams, and I'm not really good with any team, and I'm not really terrible with any team, but I just like playing different teams. I'm weird about that. I'm weird about that. Even like I play like the Dragon Ball card game,
Mm,
and I never just play one deck, 40 games in a row to really get my deck down. I'm
oh, yeah.
stupid, and I play it like 6 games, and then I go, oh, I'm gonna try a new
Well, that's
person.
how I was in Magic back when I played hardcore. Even then, I'd have my mermaid deck, I'd have a spore deck, I'd have different gimmicky fun decks. I'm not looking to win all the time. I just want to have fun.
Oh, I'm looking to win all the time. I just want
Well, yeah,
I
you know what I mean.
I want to be the guy that can pick up anything and just be really good at it, even though I've only played it like 5 times. But I'm not that guy. But that's what I dream to be.
Yeah. I
So
realize I'm not that guy every time I play a stupid draft on Magic Online.
those are tough, aren't they?
I'm like, this team looks like it's going to be really good. This is a good deck. And then 5 minutes later, how do I already have 3 losses?
Yeah. Yeah, I always think I do good in those too, but I really don't.
No.
Yes, I would. I'm very much excited to give the new team a try. I think I also kind of want an excuse to get some new models painted and give it a shot.
Yeah.
I think the new additions with the extra strength and stuff would be so much better. I'm gonna have to like rename some players though, because I had a particular way. Like the pit fighters all had like a name and like what they were known for.
Yeah.
Like Bator was the Black-Hearted, Augustus Brutus the Ripper. So those are all my pit fighters to feel pit fightery. So I'm gonna have to adjust my names now a little bit with my fluffy stuff, but that's okay.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah, that's actually the fun stuff. The fun stuff to me is the story behind the game.
Mm-hmm.
So, but
Uh,
looking forward to it.
let's say I don't think we have anything else with Fluff for
No,
Khorne.
I really don't. Besides, like in my world of Blood Bowl, in my weird role playing Blood Bowl world, this is where Bator the Blackheart was just a normal guy who learned the game, who learned to survive more than anything, and then had enough of this, and then he went out and got a bar, and then he thought I can make money off these drunks, and he started his own team.
Good for him.
So I'm thankful for Khorne for giving me that.
And that's something they'll never take away from you. Okay.
No, that's all I got for this. And if you have something to add, you can do that.
I
mean,
don't. I mean, Khorne, I can't believe I forgot he was in the video game because I was one of the chief people fighting to get them NAF approved. It's just been so long.
like fluff wise in the I guess in the Blood Bowl universe or the Warhammer universe, we know this. I mean, it's really just simple. He's the god of murder and like rage and all this stuff. If you play the Chaos in the Old World board game, which I know you've played, Steve,
Mm-hmm.
where you play all four Chaos gods, his is the aggression. He's just going out destroying things. While in that same game, Nurgle just sits around and waits because he wants everything to get all jacked up from Khorne
Yeah.
and then let disease to set in. So that game is very themey too, just like in Blood Bowl here. So yeah, I mean, Khorne's just basic. He's just go kill stuff, go be
He's the
raged.
he's the pumpkin spice of Blood Bowl. Basic bitch.
Yeah, I guess so. If you want to
Not
say
really, but I
that.
mean, just it's
I,
it's the new, so we don't
I
have
mean,
much to go with.
if you're playing Warhammer like a role playing game and you want just a bad guy and you don't really want a reason, you just say this guy is influenced by Khorne and he
Mm-hmm.
wants to kill everything, and people go, "Oh, okay,"
Yeah, because
and
that's
they
how it
just
is.
accept it. So,
Okay, I think we will wrap this up and come back with shoutouts.
ooh, yeah, I like
Oh yeah, you like the shoutouts? That's threw you for a loop, didn't I?
you did. I don't know if I'm supposed to like respond. Is this the segment?
Yeah,
Shout
there you
outs.
go.
You
No,
did throw
you
me
ended
because I
the
was like,
last one going, "Ooh, I like the shoutouts," and I was like,
and you gave
"Ooh
me some Macho
yeah,
Man. Ooh,
Macho Man
yeah.
with the shoutouts."
Steve Kilowoggy Campbell. All right, yeah, some shout outs. Shout outs.
Shout
Give
out
it
to the
to
Macho Man.
Then he did.
Yeah.
No, I
Didn't he
know.
run into a tree?
He got in a wreck, yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Died from a car wreck. Hulk Hogan did not beat him up.
Okay.
I mean, would Macho Man still be wrestling in some capacity if he was alive?
Probably yeah.
I'm always curious, like, would he be the old guy that would be hosting like WrestleMania like Hogan? Or would he actually just say, I've had enough of this crap? Never
He
mind. That's just a
he
weird
seemed to
wrestling
like the
tangent.
attention, so
Yeah, they all do. So
of course.
I mean I can't really blame them.
So
I mean
first off,
we
for
we do a podcast for attention, right?
that's I guess there's got to be some reason we do it.
Yeah.
First off, Aaron Franklin, who we met and hung out with and played at the tournament that we went to this year, the one. He is continuing the Royal Open. So Royal Open 3 is going to happen November 20th in Kansas City. It is on the NEF, so you can go there and check. Him and Perrin will be there, obviously. And
Whoa,
that's
whoa,
pretty
whoa.
much it.
November 5th?
20th.
20th. November 20th. Oh, okay. Never mind. That goes in theme with what I'm about to talk about.
Do you have something to do that weekend? Or
Yes.
okay. So there
Well,
we could
well,
conceivably go.
Well, I'll have to check my calendar. I think I have. I keep thinking there's a. Anyways, that was a date we looked at. So
Okay.
I guess my little announcement here is going to be a kind of a half announcement on December 11th. Me and a buddy Gary Brown, with some help from Steve when he can, because I know he's starting a new job and everything, we are going to run a charity event for Brian Mitchell. If you don't know who Brian Mitchell is, he's the one who him and Johnny P started Zlurpcast way back in the day. Me and Steve started listening to them. We got very inspired and wanted to do some podcasting as well. Um, they still do like a gaming podcast on called Slurpcast TV, but Brian had what was it? Stage three, stage.
Yeah.
It was bad. I mean,
Colon
cancer's
cancer.
bad at any
Yeah.
stage, so it doesn't really matter. They had, I think it was Johnny started a GoFundMe page for Brian because he didn't
Mm-hmm.
have insurance, and they've raised a lot of money for Brian to for him and his family not to be crippled by the finances of this. And if you're in another country listening, you know, everybody in America fears the day that they get like something bad happen to them and they're crushed for life
No
because
doubt.
they had to go to the doctor and stay in the hospital a couple of days. Like that is for real a real fear that I have, that I'm getting close to 50 and at some point I'm going to have something go wrong and just cripple everything I have
Yeah.
created.
And there's no insurance against that. Like, even having insurance, you will go bankrupt.
Yeah. So on December 11th at 9 o'clock in the morning, we are going to do a Blood Bowl charity tournament. I don't know how much it's going to cost to join, but all the money is going to go to Brian Mitchell's charity. We're going to do, I think right now we're just going to do gift certificates. So if you win first place, you're going to get a gift, or not a gift certificate, a certificate that says first place. And it's going to have your little name on it and it's going to be fancy and all that.
Yeah.
It's just going to be, it's
Keeping
also a
it
great
simple and
excuse.
cheap so that we can give all the money to him.
Right. I think I'm going to donate a few of some of the artwork that I did on Death Path. I'm going to have those there and we're going to do like a thing where just have some like raffle items. And I think those are going to be a couple of them that I'm just going to throw in there. And I mean, at this point, if somebody only, if I, it only makes $15 and it goes to Brian, so be it. You know, like I wouldn't be a part of the Creighton. I didn't create the game, but I wouldn't have been a part of like doing the artwork for Death Path if it wasn't for Brian and Johnny. So like,
We wouldn't be
it's pretty
doing this if it wasn't for that. I
right.
wouldn't have gone to Europe if it wasn't because of them. I mean, a lot of our life in the past 10 years comes down to Zlurpcast. And because we just wouldn't have probably gone to a tournament. We didn't know they existed. Or if we did, they weren't that exciting until we started listening to Zlurpcast and we're like, that
That's
sounds
a little bit
awesome.
of it. I mean, like going to Chaos Cup for your first time tournament kind of changes your whole perspective of
Yeah.
everything, seeing a large group and everything.
And
Much
honestly,
different than if it's been a 10-man tournament.
yeah. And would I mean, I've been to Wrigley multiple times now. I'd never went to Wrigley before. Could I have? Probably, but did I have the inclination or the people to go with? No. So I've been able to do things that are life changing experiences because of this game, which all ties back to the exploration of the world because of Zlurpcast.
Right. So to help Brian out, whether we have 8 people there or if we have 30 people there, there will, just to give you a heads up, December 11th is a Saturday. We know it's in December. We know you might have an office party. You might have a family early Christmas get together, but that's the date that the store gave us. One of them was the 20th, and he balked on that one. So November 20th did not happen, and we had to go to December 11th. December 11th in Norman, Oklahoma, at Wizards Asylum at 9 o'clock in the morning. There will be a tournament. We'll have full disclosure on the rules and stuff like that by the next time we broadcast, or it'll be on the Both Down website, either one, whichever one comes
Probably
first.
both.
But we'll talk about it then as well. Frankly, we haven't ran a tournament with the new rules, so it's going to
No.
be interesting to like make sure we cover everything on the rule set. I probably will reach out to, you know, maybe Jeffro and John over in Lubbock to at their rule sets to kind of like, you know, see what worked, see what didn't work, and go from there. I will probably keep it fairly. simple, but I don't know how. I mean, it's not going to be
No
basic. So don't.
star players.
But at the same time, we've never seen the star players, so I'm really torn on this. But me and
One
Gary's
star player.
me and Gary is going to get together this week to shoot our ideas off of each other's. I know what my ideas for the event are, and they're kind of out there. And I'm sure Gary's going to have some more grounded, which is probably the direction we should go. But we'll see what happens. So that's all I can give you. December 11th, 9 a.m. in the morning. That should give plenty of time for people who are driving up from Dallas if they wanted not to stay the night, and they can get home. If you get this before we settle in, the kind of question is like, do we do 4 rounds or 3 rounds?
Three.
We haven't decided on that yet either.
Three.
I know, but everybody's like Blood Bowl hungry as well, and they might want more. As I don't know. I just don't know.
Okay. I mean, I'm not. You're not wrong, but three's usually better.
Yeah, I've even tossed around the idea of doing 3 rounds with the fourth round just being like the top four teams
Mm-hmm.
to have like a playoff thing, and then people could still sit around and play board games and hang out and have some fellowship because we're really missing that.
That's true. I'm not going to disagree, but I mean, I know if we're talking about people coming in from out of town, it's easier with a three than a four because that's 2 extra hours and some
Right,
that they can get back on the road.
right. That's true. Everything is true, but if for some reason we're not decided, hey, email us, let us know.
Yeah.
Podcast@gmail.com, your opinion. Um, I really don't know how many people can make it being in December, but anything we do, even if we raise, $150, that gives them $150 closer. So
Yeah, and if you want to donate directly, you can just Google GoFundMe Brian Mitchell, Bryan, and you'll find it.
yeah, I mean he's getting really close on that. So
Yeah, and he did get his surgery done. It came through looking okay, so
I mean it.
hopefully everything just goes well.
This GoFundMe goal is for $20,000. Welcome to America, folks.
Mm-hmm.
$20,000 just to keep his family from just being crippled, and he's almost at 17,000. And a lot of this is from the Blood Bowl community.
Oh
So
yeah,
hats off to yourself for being like supporting one of our own, because everybody donating $20 to somebody in need. This just shows you that you can kind of move mountains, so to speak, and help out people. So hats off to everybody on that. Did you have any other shout outs?
not to my knowledge.
Okay, I'm going to give one more shout out. Eric Nyberger, listen to the last podcast. We talked about not getting some dice that we missed.
Oh yeah,
And he's directed me and Steve in the right direction to get dice and help one of us get some dice. And like I said, another one in a different direction to grab a hold of dice. So we thank Eric and all the guys from Florida for your help.
and Mark Perry, he tagged me in a post about
Oh,
a dice and was like, "Well, we already got them."
yeah, it was quick. I mean, like, I kind of forgot the podcast went up so quick. And I was like, what's he talking about dice? And they're like, oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, we asked about this. And it's like, it's kind of funny that you just still at times, even after doing this for 10 years, you think like nobody really cares or listens. And then they show you that they care and listen. So
Also, I guess I'll do a shout out. If anyone has older both down dice from our tournaments, Oklahoma, Spiky, Nuffleween, if you have any of the early stuff and you're willing to let it go, let me know. Specifically, like probably tournaments 1 and 2.
yeah, we have some people looking for those.
Yeah.
Some big time both down collectors.
We'll make it worth your while. We'll make you an offer you can't refuse.
That's all the shout outs I got at this moment.
Yeah, that's all I got. I didn't check the iTunes reviews, but we don't get them often because I don't think anyone does that anymore.
Yeah, I don't know if iTunes is like a big thing anymore.
I don't. There's just so many other places you can get podcasts.
Huh. I remember I got on the iTunes. Of course, like if I'm on there, that means it's going to die soon because I'm the old guy.
Mm-hmm. That's usually how it works.
Yeah. To get over to Instagram and kill it, or TikTok. God, I'd love to kill TikTok.
Jeez.
It's like every female I know just loves TikTok.
It's addictive. I mean, it's made in a way to, get that dopamine going.
Oh, dude, they're some of the smartest people ever. I give them big hats off because I wish I would have thought of like, let's do YouTube, but only like a minute. That won't work. Yeah, it will. So that's all I got, folks.
Okay. Well, then I guess we're done, and we'll be back next month, later this month. Who knows?
Yeah, let's try to get like next month on time.
That would be nice.
That'd be a great reward for people. We probably
Exactly.
really need to, anyways, with all the new tournament stuff. So,
Oh yeah, and holidays coming up and everything. So
yeah, give some people to drive to grandma's and listen to some wonderful both down
exactly.
before fighting with their family.
Or during sometimes. I mean, okay. We'll see you.
See ya.
Oh, and by the way, one last thing. We actually did get something in from Warhammer that I should have mentioned before, and I forgot. Warhammer 40k Orks Kill Rig.
Yeah.
I mean, it's big, it's cool looking. I don't know how you could turn this into something Blood Bowl related because it's massive.
It could be a giant cheerleader.
Yeah, I
It is massive.
you could take the beast and make it into just a corn beast,
I mean,
sort of.
you could. You could.
I like
It's
that the guy's
pretty.
wearing a crown.
It's very, very pretty, but golly, it's got to be hell to put together, right?
God, I can't imagine. That's why we don't do stuff like this.
No, like the kid in me wants to do all the stuff like this. I talked about it earlier. Like, I'm glad the comics come out because I got to, I don't have to read a book. I can read a comic book for 15 minutes instead of a 400-page book on the Warhammer lore
Yeah.
and kind of still get the gist of it. But no, this thing is incredible. I think it's really cool that they're sending us this stuff, even though we specifically do Blood Bowl. I mean, hell, one day we might have enough units just to fire out our own thing and just like not even run a tournament. Just tell the fans, like, we're gonna have a Warhammer day, and you can come up to Wizards at 9 o'clock in the morning on this date, and you can play Warhammer with Steven Scott and teach us how to play.
You know what though? We could put this stuff out for raffles.
We could actually. That's actually a great idea.
Yeah, because that box, I mean, the Dominion box,
We
I
might.
would put $20 in to win it. Like
Yeah,
legit. I mean, it's not mine. So I mean,
yeah, it's true. I mean,
we could legitimately keep it. GW wouldn't care, but I'm not going to do that to them because it doesn't do me any good just to keep it for no reason.
that's a great idea because like we want to keep all this stuff because we're little,
Or hoarders.
hobbit people.
Yeah.
We're just, well, I mean, like, I always want to keep every game thing because it's like, but what if one day I'll play, and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I'm not going to play that. No, I think this is a great idea. If they're cool with it, I think we should raffle this off maybe at least some of this stuff
Yeah.
at the charity tournament. So I think
They're
that's a
cool.
great
I mean,
idea.
they're a great company.
Or
Honestly, they've never had any issues with anything we've done. And anytime we mention something, so like if since it's not for profit and we're not selling it, that's fine.
no, this thing is really. This is where I wish that we've had this fantasy dream for like 10 years of like having a stadium up at the store
Yeah.
that's modeled out and in the same fashion of like Brian Mitchell's, like he has a half sidelines where he had a contest where you could paint a model and put him in the crowd and all that stuff. I love that. And I still want that for us one day. I just know me and you are not modelly people
Mm-hmm.
enough and lazy. Like we both rather just go work for a week and pay somebody to
Yeah,
do
as I was
it.
saying, we don't have the money to pay someone to do it.
But when I see stuff like this, I'm like, God, could you imagine that being like in the corner of the end zone, just like the OU Texas game where they had
Mm-hmm.
Bevo, the big cow sitting over there, the Longhorn.
And
I
completely
would,
redo it as a cheerleader type thing.
yes, I would
Yeah.
love that. But like, I know I'm also not going to do that. But if you are playing Warhammer 40K and Orcs, you need to get this thing. It's
Yeah.
not out yet. It's soon to be out this October.
This
So,
is October.
huh?
This is October.
No, it's coming out this October, which is now.
Okay.
Well, I know there was pre-orders for it for a while.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to...
maybe it dropped in stores this weekend. I don't know, but yeah, this is really cool. Hats off to the GW guys for sending us this, and this is our review for this thing. I imagine this thing's like a real ass kicker on the battlefield.
Yeah, I would assume so, but isn't everything at that point?
Probably. Probably should play some Warhammer 40k or some Sigmar or whatever.
No idea. Okay, I just wanted to drop in and give some shout outs to that.
No. I'm glad we did not forget this, because this is really cool that they sent this. Send more stuff, like four Khorne teams.
Yes. I'll be happy if they send us Blood Bowl stuff. That means Blood Bowl stuff is actually coming out.
No, yeah. I think it's awesome. I think it's cool that I can't believe we're doing this podcast and they still send us anything. So all worth it. Anyways, this is the second goodbye. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
You can follow Both Down on Twitter at Both Down. You can follow Scott at
Real Scott Prime
and Steve at Kilowog2814. If you'd like to email them, the email address is bothdownpodcasts@gmail.com. Or for more information, you can visit them at bothdown.com or at facebook.com/bothdown.
WrestleMania 3 at the Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan. It's a day that I'm certain my guest at this time will not forget. I'm talking about the former Intercontinental Champion of the world, Macho Man Randy Savage.
Nothing means nothing.
Nothing
means nothing, man.
Nothing means nothing. What do you mean by that?
More, I'm talking about all the way to the top, yeah. Unjustifiably in a position that I'd rather not be in, but the cream will rise to the top, oh yeah. Macho Madness, yeah, has got more to offer than President Jack Tunney thinks that I got, yeah. And I'm gonna tell you something right now. Cards stacked against the Macho Man Randy Savage in WrestleMania 3. Yeah, let me say it, yeah. Let me say it out loud. And let me point to the president of the World Wrestling Federation that the Macho Man Randy Savage is not happy with your decision, yeah. I am the cream in the World Wrestling Federation.
Wait a minute, Brent.
And there is no doubt about it, yeah. You mean Gene Okerlund. You know that I'm the cream of the crop.
Oh, wait a minute, though, Randy. I've got to ask you very seriously. Do you blame Mr. Jack Tunney, the distinguished president of the World Wrestling Federation, for Ricky Steamboat being the Intercontinental Champion today?
Yeah, I do, yeah. Outside interference, yeah. In my moment of glory. Yeah, no, I'm living in a nightmare. And I am the cream. And now, not only the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship belt must fall, but the World Heavyweight Championship belt. Because Hulk Hogan, yeah, I am the cream, yeah. The cream of the crop. And there is no one that does it better than the Macho Man Randy Savage. On balance, off balance, doesn't matter. I'm better than you are, yeah. And I'm talking to everyone in the World Wrestling Federation. And I'm even talking to President Jack Tunney, yeah. I'm on my way. And nothing is gonna stop me. Nothing's gonna stop me.
Just out of curiosity, Randy, and I certainly don't want to diminish your tremendous God-given talents, but I'm very curious. I haven't seen Elizabeth lately.
Yeah, she's on the outside of the ring. Does she interfere in matches? Yeah. Nothing, zero, yeah. Pure athlete, yeah. And I've been, maligned from the top to the bottom. And because they can't handle the Macho Man Randy Savage, the cream of the crop, nobody does it better.